Hi, welcome to Discussing Fitchburg Now. I'm your host, Sam Squalia. This week's show, we're talking with the North Worcester County Landlord Association, and in the second half, we'll be talking with members from the Lunenburg Skate Park. So on right now, I have Brenda Covina-Watson and Brian Lucier from the North Worcester County Landlord Association, the NWCLA.
Yep.
Yeah, so Brian, you're the president.
Yes.
And Brenda, you're the founder and the membership director.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right, so you are an organization, you created this, Brenda, because you felt a need for landlords to kind of get together and learn from each other.
Yeah, actually I bought a property and ended up in court and decided, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So I sat with a couple of people that were in court and we said, we need something that we can pilot to help people, deal with their properties. So we just kind of
This sprung from a mutual court appearance from you and some other landlords.
Exactly. So yeah, we've been 9+ years and going strong. I mean, it's a great organization, and when you buy a property, it's probably one of the biggest investments you're going to make. And when you buy a property as a landlord, you now have tenants, and so it's quite an investment, and it needs to you need to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I found that at WCLA on my first eviction. I was called by the president, who was president at that time, and I never knew there was a landlord association. I was like, there's a what? And when can I get there, and how can I do this? And the thing is, when you volunteer for a nonprofit, eventually they make you president and don't let you leave.
Well, when you're good at
when you
something.
keep saying yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, it's been one of the best moves I've ever made as a landlord, because looking back, all that I've learned and the experience that I've gained working with combined hundreds of years of experience with all the different members, I don't see how I could have done this without it.
So just run with a quick amount of stats, right? The North Worcester County Landlord Association has over 100 members of landlords from our general area.
Yep.
You meet once a month for an informative meeting where you'll often have a speaker to speak about a specific issue. Oh, you always have a speaker.
Yep.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so your members can come and learn from this and also talk amongst each other with their whatever issues.
Yep. Well, it's really a great place to network. A lot of networking is done just with our members. But then, especially some of the people that we bring in to speak at the association, they just learn the wealth of knowledge. I mean, and we've got the Board of Health. We've had inspectors. We've
Housing
had
court judges, attorneys, accountants, anybody having to do anything affiliated with the real estate. For landlords, anything like that. They come in, they give us their perspective on what we could be doing to better our operations. And we can glean something from just about every meeting and put that into practice with what we're doing in our own properties. And it works out really well.
And it's really crucial because people, especially first-time landlords, there's a lot of rules and regulations and costs and fees to navigate.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to one of the building inspectors today, and he said that a lot of people are buying buildings because now they're inexpensive, and the city's also trying to work with people to try to get these properties filled so that they make the communities, and the people don't know what they're doing. They just think they're going to collect the rents, and you can't do that. Especially when you're talking about other lives. And it's good to bridge that with the community because the Board of Health, the building inspectors, they want to help us to have good buildings, and together, we can have safe properties. I mean, we don't want anything happening to any of our tenants. So.
What are some common topics that you hear, from especially your new landlords?
Security deposits, that's one of the first things. Screening tenants.
Screening.
That's absolutely job number one. If you put the wrong person in a property, they'll upset all the other residents, and it just could make everything terrible. You have to screen your residents. You have to do background checks. There's masscourts.org. That's a website that you can go on in Massachusetts, and it'll show you any eviction records in Massachusetts. So if you're looking at a prospective renter, you can go on there as a start, find out if they do have an eviction record. But don't use that as the only criteria, because bad things happen to good people sometimes. They may have had a medical issue or something which impaired them from paying their rent. So if you do find someone on masscourts.org, make sure you do a little further investigation. And I think the last time we were here, we mentioned that if someone does have a balance that they owe a landlord, I'm more than happy to work with someone in that situation, but they need to be able to verify that they did pay the debt they owed to the previous landlord. Because again, bad things happen to good people. If they recovered that debt and made it all set, we can work with them.
So how would you find out if they owe a landlord money?
It's a public website.
It's a public. Yep.
Oh, so if someone owes, so if you're a landlord and someone owes you money and has not paid, do you put that to mass court, or?
Well, let's say you were going to rent from us. I would put your name into the database, and if nothing came up, that's great. And there's 6 different housing courts throughout Massachusetts, so you can filter through each one to see if Sam was evicted in the past. And if I do find something, then we'll have a discussion. We'll talk about it.
Because if you're evicted, then that'll show up in the courts.
Definitely.
Every time.
Definitely.
Every time.
And, you know, for me, I know when a tenant says, I just want to let you know my credit's not so good, that's not a criteria, solely the criteria for me. Because again, sometimes, you know, things happen, and they've happened to me. So I don't go based on that, but I don't want to find something out. I'd rather them tell me something, you know, and so.
Right. So you have a conversation with the prospective
yes,
renter,
exactly.
and if they're like, no problems at all, and then you looked up their name and you're like, what is all of this?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's going to be a discussion.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more landlords in Fitchburg. Lately, there's so many properties that are just looking so much nicer, and people are taking care of them, and it just builds the whole community. It's not just being a landlord and collecting rent. It's you know.
When you're an engaged landlord.
Yeah. Definitely not an absentee landlord.
It's really
Not
good to
very
be a member of the group, because you have that peer-to-peer support. You're in a room with 100+ other landlords, just sitting at a table. We do have a little bit of a buffet. We feed you when you come in.
Ooh.
And there's that networking at the beginning where you can like say, well, what about this? And how would you do that? And how would you do that? And we have that time for our members. And then we have our presentation, where it's always an open forum. The presenter will present whatever messages that they need to give to the landlords. And then we open up the floor where the landlords can personally discuss, well, what about
And ask
this?
questions.
What if
that's
scenarios? Which is really great when housing court judges come in, because when they're
Definitely.
sitting on the bench in their robes, they're not going to have that discussion with you. Their job there is to decide the law. When they're in our meeting in the forum, then we can have an open discussion. It can go back and forth. And again, security deposits, screening tenants, code violations, Board of Health violations. You need to know sanitary code. Just look it up. There's a website you can find it. It's google.com.
Let me
go
Google
there.
that for you.
can
That's my
Google
middle
it.
name.
Fine.
exactly.
Sanitary code, Mass State Sanitary Code, tenant landlord law. You can go on to massgov.org.
You can just search mass tenant rights and it'll pop right up.
All of it's in there.
But you know, the internet has so much. I mean, you can open up so many different things.
Right.
Where our
And there's a lot of
meeting-
legalese language that can, you know,
Exactly.
sometimes you're not really sure how to interpret it.
Yes, and when you're a part of our organization, you actually can get leases and things from us that are already filtered and built in, so that it makes it
So you don't have to
easier.
create your own
You don't
lease.
have to create.
You can go to the landlord association
And that's what
say,
we were doing
hey,
in the
I'm
beginning.
looking for a standard lease for
Exactly.
X for a year, for 12 months, or...
Yeah, I shop at Staples, but don't just go and get
a
the
lease.
NOLO or the Avery standard lease.
Yeah,
Because
they're too
it doesn't
standard.
work in Massachusetts.
Right, because it's not tailored to Massachusetts
Right.
specific laws
Mass
and
general law.
updated for whatever new laws that might come out.
And now,
Exactly.
being part of masslandlord.net, do you want to tell them how we're...
masslandlords.net. So masslandlords.net has taken over the responsibilities of Mass Rental Housing Association. There are 28 different satellite property owner and landlord associations.
So like NWCLA, the North Worcester County, there's 28 others in the state of Massachusetts.
Yes.
We are one spoke on the hub. Mass Landlords is the hub, and right now there are 10 of these associations that are all affiliated as chapters with Mass Landlords.
So we're filling up the hub.
Yes.
Yes.
The goal is to get all of Massachusetts landlords on the same page, because we all have to follow and obey the same rules, laws, and regulations. There's about 1,800 members right now in Mass Landlords. We have 100 plus members. Our stats are we have about 980 units under management through our association. 198 of those are in Fitchburg. So Fitchburg is our largest pocket of rental units, and then Leominster and Gardner, and there are 28 other towns, all encompassing the 980 units. So we're getting there.
So that you have 28 cities and towns in the North Worcester County Landlord Association?
Yes.
Right, and then there's Worcester Property Owner Association,
Charles
Southern
Rivers.
Charles River.
There's a
and
lot of,
yeah, one of the great things about Mass Landlords is all these different affiliate chapters. We get notifications to our members, so you can say, all right, well, there's something going on in Charles River. I want to know about that. So now we're able to share the information from Mass Landlords.
Click the newsletter for Charles.
Yes.
We get an awesome newsletter
amazing.
through Mass Landlords.
Yeah.
It's very professional. It looks magazine quality, and you can see all the different topics that are happening across the state.
And what I really like about this, though, is that if something happens up on Beacon Hill for landlords, we can be such a group, and there's going to be so much of us.
You can
there.
speak as one voice.
Definitely.
Right.
Yes.
You can mobilize all your landlords to say, whoa,
Yes.
hey, what are you guys doing at the state level?
Exactly.
Masslandlords.net has a lobbyist. So with all of us supporting them, if there's an issue that comes up, they can send out the notice to us. We can get it to our members.
They can go speak to our legislators and let them know how we feel about an issue.
I'm sure you'll get some emails on that.
Yeah, but knowledge is your best defense when you own a property. Knowing what to do and how to do it, and that's what we're all about. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't think I need them." You'd be surprised what you need from us. Just the little tidbits of information that you learn every month. And we've been 9+ years, and I'm still picking up different things from, the fire. October is Fire Prevention Month, and they came in and did a whole presentation, the Fitchburg Fire Department. So it's really informative. It's really great. It's nice to be part of a great network.
And you would urge people to be proactive in seeking out this information rather than maybe reactive to, oh no, I'm getting sued, or I tried to evict my tenant and they won't leave, and now it's costing me month by month, and maybe you didn't put something in escrow that you should have put in escrow, and so now you're getting hit for the 3 times the amount.
You can't change the locks. You can't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can't do.
Right. So you change the locks, then they sue you, and you got to pay for. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we share the same story. We found out. Well, you founded the association. I found out about it
Through
at Housing Court when we were already there.
Already there.
What happened?
The bell had rung.
So I bought a 5-family, and 4 of the tenants decided they weren't going to pay. And that's,
Really?
Yeah. And
4?
I had a mortgage, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is why. I was crying on people's shoulder, going, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I really want to urge any landlords out there.
Definitely.
Come see us now before you're having to stand before a judge and explain what it is that you're doing there.
Yeah.
We can help. We've got Facebook pages, we've got open forums, we've got the meetings, we've got the resources, we've got the knowledge, we've got the experience, and we can give it to you. We're an educational resource for landlords. Definitely. That's what we're here for.
Definitely.
And so specifically on your in-person meetings, which seem to be really a great tool for meeting other people and learning.
Definitely.
So that's the 4th Thursday of the month?
It's the second Thursday.
Second Thursday
every
of the month.
Except when Of course, Monty Tech, because it's at Monty Tech, and except if they have snow. But we announce all that, and it's 7 o'clock. And our membership, you can go right on our website, which is www.nwcla.com, and right on it tells you all about the membership. So there are different levels of membership. You can be just part of our organization, or you can be more of the Mass Landlords, or you can be there's just different levels. So.
And so it's $10 if you're not a member and you just want to come in and check out the meeting. Is that correct?
Well, now that we've been under the Mass Landlords, there is, so you can sign up before the meeting. You can prepay before the meeting. Otherwise, at the door, it's $20.
Okay.
But you do get the meal for $20 to just come in and check it out. And I mean, the meal alone, we have Happy Jacks, who caters our meeting, and they do a fantastic job with the food. No complaints in the food department from our members, but yeah, you can come in and check it out, and then that $20 can go towards
your membership.
Your membership,
you
exactly. You can
it.
apply it towards it.
So you can come in. And what is a yearly membership to for the base rate for your North Worcester County landlord?
$100.
Yeah, it's $100.
$100 a year, and if you want to
$100.
be a part of the masslandlords.net.
The next tier up is $130, and that will get you access to their database and all their videos of all their Worcester Property Owner Association meetings. So you've got a library of 3 years of videos of topics, plus all the forms, addendums, statements, everything else. You get full access to their membership site at masslandlords.net. And then there's other tiers up if you want, like, I like to go to the meetings and eat.
Yeah.
I like that. So that's the next level up, and you can do it for a single person, you can do it for a couple. So there's the base membership, there's the Mass Landlords Plus web membership, and then there's Mass Landlords NWCLA plus being able to go to the meetings. So that's what I do, because I need to know what's
And all this information is right at nwcla.com.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a lot of local people, like Aubuchon's supports our members.
Saborin
Hardware, Home Depot.
Depot.
You mean like you get discounts? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
so
we have.
for all your fixing up of your property.
Oh
Exactly.
my goodness.
Yes.
There's so many
Depot
benefits. I don't
is
think we have
amazing.
enough time on this program
Yeah.
to walk through it all. So again, if you're a landlord and you want to find out more about it, come to a meeting.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the meeting, we walk through the benefits at the beginning of every meeting. I was talking to some of your staff who are actually landlords before we came on, and they got to join. I can absolutely show you how becoming a member, you'll be able to pay for your membership in advance just by the benefits that we give you.
Oh, and if you're a member and you invite another landlord, you get a benefit from us there. So we've got some incentives.
Referral
too.
bonus?
Referral
Yep,
bonus.
there's
Yes.
referral bonuses.
You can get
there's-
a free membership out of it.
Yeah, if you use the sponsors that support our group,
Yep.
we called it the Golden Ticket Award. All you have to do is bring in a receipt from a constable or anyone that you've
Aubuchon's
used.
or any of the
our sponsors.
You use any of our sponsors, and we'll give you a ticket. And at the end of the year, we're going to pull one ticket, and somebody's going to get a free membership.
That's
Yep.
that's win-win.
Yeah, it's an incentive. Yeah, definitely. And we love our sponsors because they are just amazing. They support us.
They're
too.
everything that we need to do this business.
Yep.
So those are the people that we like to be sponsors.
So who are some of the upcoming speakers that you have in the upcoming agendas?
We have Mr. Landlord himself.
Mr. Landlord?
Yeah, there is
Jeffrey
a Mr.
Taylor,
Landlord.
he's a national
amazing.
speaker. He speaks from coast to coast, and he has programs and stuff, all kinds of different things to help out landlords. This is going to be his second time with us. Last time he was out was 4 years ago. April, he's going to be coming out to our association again. That's really huge.
That's going to be huge.
I think in June we have the Worcester Housing Court judges coming out. I'm going to do a presentation with Debbie Grealish, who's one of our other board members, on property management software and operations. We're going to look at grassroots, some of the free tools that are out there, like Google Drive, Google Docs, all that. We're going to look at Appfolio, and we're going to look at Buildium and how these you can use for your operations. We have all kinds of people lined up. Like I said, we've got attorneys lined up to show you how to properly form your entity when you buy a property.
Because you don't want to, sometimes, if you're buying a big like a 3-family or above,
Yes.
then you don't want to buy that as a sole proprietor. You want to create a business entity like an LLC
Yep.
to protect yourself.
That's one way of doing it, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you always have to find out what works best for you, you know, but
Yeah, there's
That's the reason for the meeting, so you can learn more.
so
Exactly.
a commercial property. There's 2 different boxes here. If you're looking at financing, 4 units and above, if you go to a bank, is a commercial loan.
Oh.
Okay. Building code, 2 units, above 2 units, 3 units and up. Now you have
That's
to
a
follow.
commercial property.
You have to follow IBC commercial code.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't really know the difference. If you're buying a 4-unit, they'll say, well, you know, it's not a commercial loan, it's a residential building. You may get a residential loan for that, but now you have to follow International Building Code for commercial.
And there's certain stipulations where if you buy a property that hasn't been habitable or habitated for a certain amount of time,
Habitable.
then now you got to bring it up to commercial code.
That's correct.
And but if if you get a property that's already been in use, then maybe you're grandfathered into the old residential code.
It all depends.
codes are all changing sometimes too, so it's good to know, you know.
From people that have experienced the same issues that you've
And the
experienced.
best thing about the building department and the Board of Health is they're there to help our properties be better. You know, they want to make sure that, you know, that somebody's not going to get hurt, and, you know, so they're always out to.
They're enforcing the state codes, so they want to help
exactly.
you.
Help us, yeah.
To get it right, so that there's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to feel like you're calling the Board of Health because you're complaining about your landlord or anything. You know, if there's something that's really of a major issue, then it should be addressed.
That's right.
Plain and
That's
simple,
right.
you know.
Here's one, and maybe you guys know about this. I just got a question about mice. Someone's renting a house, and she has a mouse problem.
Right.
She's like, "What can I do? My landlord won't fix my mouse problem."
Okay, so the landlord is liable because they need to address that. That is a state sanitary code. It is one of the codes that a mice infestation must be looked at. So if that happened at one of my properties, the first thing I need to do, first I'll call Paul, my exterminator, but we're gonna walk the perimeter of the building and then go through the basement and every unit. We're looking for any areas where mice can enter the building. The first step is to close all those off. Copper steel wool is something good that you can put in small holes.
They don't like to get through there.
Yeah.
Well, it'll scratch their eyes,
Yeah.
which is not fun for them, and it will block it off. So the first thing you need to do is secure the property and block off all the holes. The second thing you need to do, a landlord should not do this themselves. They should not lay down bait traps.
No.
It should be someone with a license who's certified to do that.
Because otherwise you can be liable for whatever damage that might cause.
Well, if say I did it and I did it wrong and I didn't secure the trap properly, if a child was in there and got into the trap and thought the bait was candy,
Or a pet.
the
Yeah, there's so many things.
It's not worth it.
it's definitely
Hire the
not worth it.
professionals.
Yeah.
Hire the professional who has the license, who has the insurance.
And we're talking infesting, you know, not a mouse or two, because let's face it, it's cold and mice are trying to get in, you know. So
Every house
every
has a
house
mouse.
does. Exactly. But
Big
an
houses have
infested-
lots of
yeah.
mouses.
Yep.
So, you know, your local pest place, definitely. And once a month, I mean, first of all, for a landlord, that's a business expense for them, you know, that they could totally write off. But it's sanitary for the tenants.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's code.
one thing's going to be led to another. If you have mice, you're going to have other things and other things. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a sign of a bigger problem, not doing the correct maintenance
Right.
at the property.
And it seems like a big thing maybe in the beginning, and I can say that just from personal experience, like having four tenants not paying rent. I was, you know, what am I going to do? And
What happened there?
well, eventually I had to get them out one by one. You know, it wasn't pretty, obviously, but it was a learning experience for me too, because I learned a lot of things I should do.
What would
and
you
not
say that you
do.
didn't do right?
Didn't know my stuff. I didn't know codes. I didn't know anything about the Board of Health. I didn't know, I didn't even know there were rules. You know, we all think that it's just you lock the door and throw away the key and throw their stuff on the. You can't do that. So.
Yeah, so many landlords, they'll buy a property and they'll go at it like the Lone Ranger. They'll just go out and make their own justice. Well, this is not the Wild West. This is Massachusetts. There's Mass General Law 186, subsection 15B, 104-940, sanitary code. You have to know these things. I would strongly suggest the best time to join our association is when you're thinking about becoming
Definitely.
a landlord.
And you can join us when you're thinking. You don't have to be.
I don't have to be a landlord to
No.
join.
If you're thinking about it, you
Get
should.
all
I
your
can be
ducks in a row.
inspired by all your stories, like, maybe I'll
Well,
buy that property.
Yeah.
Henry Ford was interviewed once by a reporter, and the reporter asked him, how did you become so successful? He says, by experience. He says, well, how did you get experience? He says, by making good decisions. So he asked him, well, how did you learn to make good decisions? By making bad decisions. So,
we all learn.
if you're a landlord out there, let's skip step one. Come on in, pick our brains, talk to the other landlords, talk to people who've been through what you've been through, and we can help you get to a successful landlord.
Okay, great. So you can go to nwcla.com for more information and probably a link to join,
Oh,
I
yes.
assume.
Right there on the top. Join and.
There we go,
and membership.
nwcla.com.
Yes.
And you can be a part of the masslandlords.net.
Masslandlords.net.
Yes.
And because I'm the membership director, you'll probably see me at the door because I'm usually scanning people in, and you'll get a phone call from me once a month when you are a member that our meeting's coming up. So I send you a reminder even. So. It's,
And I want to thank you on behalf of our association.
Absolutely.
Not just for us, but for anyone out there who's trying to figure this out and be a landlord. We're here to help. We work with the city. We work with the inspectors. We're trying to do this right. We'll train you how to do it right. And we're a nonprofit. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Being a landlord can be fun if you know what you're doing.
It's like raising a child. You know, they get better as they go.
All right, anything else you want to add before we cut to commercial?
See you at the next meeting.
Yeah, December
When is the next
6th.
meeting?
December 6th.
December 6th.
And that's our holiday meeting. So there's not going to be a lot of.
There's no speaker.
There's no speaker. There'll be a lot of mingling, but it's just a holiday one. We give away a lot of prizes. So if you join on the December 6th, chances
Really
are.
good point. If you want to come to that meeting, bring food for food pantries and bring toys for the Toys for Tots State Police Drive. That's how you get the raffle tickets. So yeah, landlords are going to get some really cool prizes, but the end result is kids are going to get toys for Christmas and families are going to get food.
And we have a lot of generous landlords.
Yeah, we
They
do a
bring
food drive
lots.
every month.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's not just in the holidays. We do it year round. So
Yeah.
there's 10 meetings a year. We're there to help, and we'd love to see you down.
All right, thank you so much, Brian Lucier and Brenda Covina Watson from the North Worcester County Landlord Association. We're going to take a break, and we're going to learn about some PSAs, and then we'll be on with the Lunenburg Skate Park.